Hello everybody. On this episode of Trinity Kitchen, we are going to do something with some of the leftovers that we have. We just seem to collect a lot of bread over the last week, and I was thinking, what can we do with that? And I thought, why not make a nice bread pudding? So that's what we're going to do. I've got my old bread here. I've got some craisins soaking in bourbon, and we are going to put all this together to make a delicious dessert. Stay tuned. We'll be right back for more. Welcome back. While you were gone, I sliced the bread into 1-inch cubes. Now we have to mix it with a quart of milk, which I've pre-poured. I'm using whole milk here because I think when you bake, whole milk is much better. Pour that in. It's about 6 to 7 cups of leftover bread that we had. Some of this bread came from the school system during this time of COVID. They're giving food to all the children, so we picked up a little bit of it. You got to mix this in real well and get all the milk soaked into the bread. Before I did this, I preheated the oven to 350, and like I said, the craisins are soaking in bourbon. We didn't have raisins, but you can use any dried fruit for this. Dried cherries, dried cranberries, raisins, anything like that. Just want to get this all soaked up well and nice. Looks like we're about there. The next thing we're going to do is wash my hands. Okay, so the bread has soaked up the milk completely, which is good. And the next thing we need to do is mix together our remaining ingredients. And what we're going to do here is we are going to crack 3 eggs into this bowl. These eggs don't come from our own chickens because we were turned in by some neighbor, we don't know who, and they took our chickens. We're not allowed to have them anymore. Chris is very disturbed by that. But anyway, these are store-bought from Aldi. They're about 65 cents a dozen. To be honest, they taste the same as the fresh eggs. But what are you going to do? This is what I have to work with here. So we're going to whisk these, beat these eggs. And then we're going to add 2 cups of sugar, 3 tablespoons of melted butter, 2 tablespoons of vanilla. Let me check that. Yep, 2 tablespoons of vanilla. Should have opened this beforehand. Oh, that smells so good. We are going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. And 1/2 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Okay, I'm going to mix this together. It smells really good. This is going to be delicious. I can almost taste it right now. So now that that's mixed together, we're going to pour this onto our bread. That should do it. And we will add these bourbon soaked cranberries into it. These should have soaked for about 1 to 2 hours. I did not give them that time, but they did soak up quite a bit of the bourbon. And let's mix this together. Oh, this is going to be nice. Okay, what we'll do next is we will put this into a 9x13 baking dish, a greased baking dish, and then when we come back we will move on to the bourbon sauce that we will put on top as a finishing sauce. Stay tuned. Okay, welcome back. We are now going to stick our bread pudding, which I put into a 9x13 pan, into our preheated oven. And we are going to start this finishing glaze. I've melted a stick of butter in here. Now we are going to add sugar. 1 cup of sugar and an egg. And we want to whisk that together. Making quite a mess, but what are you going to do? Okay, that's blended really well. You can see here. You want to keep mixing this and stirring until it sticks to the back of your spoon or my whisk here. Have this on about medium heat. And then what we're going to do next is we're going to add the magic, the bourbon. There's lots of recipes out there that don't call for bourbon, but why would you make those? Okay, I think we're ready for the bourbon. Got a half a cup of bourbon here. I'm going to stir that in. And we will just cook this off for a little bit. It's blended very well. Once you get this finished off, you just take it off the heat, and then when you're ready to serve your bread pudding, you pour it over the top. So, all that's left now is to wait for the bread pudding to cook. We'll pour this on and then we'll have some. We'll see you then. Okay, we're back. The bread pudding finished cooking in the oven, and I brought it out here, as you can see. Looks pretty good. The cranberries came out nice. It's very festive looking. Now we're going to give it a shot here. And while I'm scooping this up, I just wanted to remind everybody what Trinity Kitchen is. The Trinity was started by a dear friend of mine, Kamyar Momeni, and his cooking philosophy is there's a trinity of spices that work on any food. It makes everything taste good, and I gotta say, he's right. The trinity is salt, pepper, garlic powder, red pepper flakes. So I've kind of adapted this show to, dedicated it to the Trinity, called it the Trinity Kitchen, but I think the Trinity has different meanings depending on the setting that you're in. And today, or tonight, the Trinity to me is love, kindness, family, friends, bread pudding, and bourbon. I hope you guys can all find a Trinity in your everyday life that means something to you and that is special. So let's get back to this. So I plated some of this bread pudding. I'm going to put some of this finishing sauce on it. And let's try it. Ooh. It's hot. It's damn good. I recommend making this as soon as you can. If you've got extra bread left over, looking for something to do with it, find a way to make this bread pudding. Really good. Well, until I see you guys again, Merry Christmas. I love you all.